guys, and welcome back to another album review. It's been a while since I did one, but you knew darn well if Miley Cyrus came out with a new one, I would drop everything to review it right off the bat. And sure enough, yeah, it dropped at midnight, or because I'm on the West Coast, 9 p.m. for me. And I've had some time to sit with it since last night. I even had it on loop overnight to really just kind of let it sink in to see, is it going to grow on me? Is it just... I'm kind of giving away some of my opinions on this right off the bat. Is it gonna grow on me? Is it just Yeah, so I have some thoughts. Miley did describe this as being what she wanted to do is like an experimental concept kind of album. Phone, stop listening to me. Anyway, so things like that, I'm just like, alright, could be interesting. We did have several of the tracks drop early. Most of just the earlier portion of the album was out long before the album was. And, I kind of... The best way I can describe this album going in just straight from the jump is kind of generic trance synth pop, if that makes any sense. That is the best, most succinct way I can describe this. So, the first track on the album, there's 13 tracks on it, it's just called Prelude. Simple. It pretty much tells you exactly what it is, and you are immediately thrown in with very... almost throwback to the 80s style synthesizers. Actually, what it reminded me of a whole lot was Pete Townshend's solo output from the 80s. It has that vibe to it. Like, I can't put my finger on the exact tracks it makes me think of, but it has that kind of a feel to it, which I suppose makes sense, given what she labeled the genre as. But, even at looking at the lyrics of Prelude, it reads like in kind of... like art school up your own ass kind of poetry, you know what I mean? It kind of reads like that, if I'm being honest. I think Miley thought she was being a lot deeper than she actually is here, but basically what she is describing throughout the lyrics of this song is basically a liminal space in song. Loneliness epidemic, perhaps. It's just like, oh... okay, I see what you're doing here. You're setting a vibe. Alright, let's see where this takes us by the next song. So the second track is the title track of the album, which is Something Beautiful, obviously enough. This one starts out trying to be like a really slow, smooth, almost R&B kind of a feel to this one. And then kind of it takes a left somewhere and starts shifting style, not quite into full jazz territory, but definitely leaning that way, with little pops of, like, wants to be in your face, like, rock opera epic, but only for, like, a second or so at a time, and then it's back to the other styles. It's interesting, but what's more interesting is, again, with this being an experimental concept album, went from liminal space, loneliness epidemic in the first track, to now she's seemingly in love or lust with whoever the song is about, and it's that whole, like, tumbling through emotions and such. Also written in, like, a very flowery, poetic kind of way. But it's just, like, it feels disjointed. It doesn't really match the first track. It doesn't really match itself throughout, in terms of lyrics or with the style of the song. It just, things on it feel disjointed. It wants to be cool, it wants to be good, and it's not bad inherently for any lack of skill of her own. I feel like it's more that it just couldn't quite decide what it wanted to be, and it brings the whole thing down a bit because of it. So, the third track on the album is basically, if you've heard a track from this album, this is the one you are likely to have heard, because this is End of the World, which is the one that I think has gotten radio airplay. I can't imagine much of anything else from this album would have, but this one has that mainstream pop appeal that you come to expect from somebody like Miley Cyrus. Now, stylistically, I have some thoughts. I feel like, stylistically, this song is about a decade too late. It kind of has that whole millennial whoop thing. Yeah, it's been a while since you heard that term, huh? Just going through the whole song, really. And it's that whole, like, early 2010s kind of vibe of a song, almost as if you plugged it into an AI song generator and asked it to crank out a generic early 2010s pop song. I imagine it would sound something like this. I am not accusing her of using AI here. I am just saying, having played with quite a few of those song generators at this point, it has that sound to it. It does. I'm sorry. Again, I'm not saying that's what she did. I'm just saying that's the sound it has, and I'm like, I can't unhear it, and it makes it hard to take it seriously. But at least with the lyrics, we do get a Paul McCartney name drop, so, you know, I'm always happy for something like that. But I mean, it's catchy enough. It's nothing like super, like, right home worthy or anything about, but it's nice. It's poppy, it's pleasant, it's an earworm, but at the same time, does it live up to other hits she's had? Not really, no. So the fourth track in is called More to Lose, and this one, well, you look at the lyrics and it looks like, oh, that quick fling that she was just singing about, I guess, is already over, because this is a total breakup song. Stylistically, this one is one of the ones that gives throwbacks to the last album she released, Endless Summer Vacation, which I absolutely loved. That one, I fell in love with every single track from the moment I heard them. But, yeah, so this one I like a lot because it does give vibes of that. It does feel like a slight throwback to that, slight throwback to a few other things in her career leading up to this point. So that's always cool to see when you see stuff stylistically like that. But yeah, it's another one that's kind of morose, kind of just like one track just blends into the next one. There's no, like, clear stopping and starting points in these if you don't hit pause in between each one. It does play like one big long medley, essentially. So it's kind of interesting, though. It's not bad, but this is one of the better ones on the album, in my opinion. So the next track hardly kind of even counts as one. It's just called Interlude 1, and as such, there's no lyrics to it or anything. It's kind of a curiosity of the album that I'll be interested to see what the film that goes with this thing ends up looking like, to see what do these all correlate with on the film versus how it is just listening to it. Because this one, it almost evokes like a 1940s film noir kind of mystery vibe, either slinking around through like the city at night alone. It's kind of like the dirty, gritty New York City kind of thing. You know what I mean, right? So it's kind of like that, because it's got like that old school, like, is it a marimba? Is it a vibraphone? I'm not sure. It's something along those lines, though, for a lot of it. And also a saxophone that also kind of adds to that 1940s vibe. But then it takes a turn, and it's like a different, I would still call it like evocative of some kind of a city, but almost like some kind of danger is approaching or something. I might be totally off base, but that is just the way I read it, trying to see if there's some kind of cohesive storyline across these. So far, not really, but you never know. So next track in is Easy Lover. Now I'm pretty well convinced if there was a cohesive storyline, maybe they snipped it up, tossed it all in the air, and then just whatever order it landed in, that's how we went on the album, because now we're back at the point of lust, infatuation, obsession, to the point of her admitting she calls this guy every hour. What? What is happening here? But I mean, stylistically, this one, another one that's kind of like smooth R&B kind of vibes with it, like very chill, very laid back. It's still jarring to me hearing this much orchestration behind Miley Cyrus, of all people, though. I'm not used to her having this big of a budget to play with, but I guess when you're fresh Grammy winner, I guess you got that kind of money to play with for something like this. Does it still feel like something's missing from this track, though, and leaves something to be desired? Yes. But on the other hand, if there's a second track I feel like might have any shot of getting airplay, it's probably this one. So the next track is Interlude 2, which is exactly what it says on the tin. But unlike the other one, this one just feels much more uninspired to me than Interlude 1. Because this one's just kind of like somebody's interpretation of what they think the 80s sounded like, but generically Like ambient 80s synthesizer pop. Is there a better succinct term for that? I don't know that there is, but that is what this sounds like. Again, it's only like a minute long, no words to it, but it was just, why are we doing this? I don't know. What are we doing for world building with this? I don't know. So the next track in is Golden Burning Sun, and this is another one that just, the lyrics feel uninspired, the style feels uninspired. It's that, again, early 2010s throwback kind of feel of like chasing after something that worked once upon a time. Maybe it'll work again now, but now it's just like, this feels kind of dated. It feels kind of, it's okay. I mean, I'll listen to it if it comes on the radio or something, but I mean, I don't see myself going out of my way on purpose for this track. It's got that like slight echoey, making it sound like a distant memory, almost kind of a vibe to it. So, I don't know, it's like, it's trying to be several things at once. I'm not sure it's accomplishing any of them. Like I said, this one's just, So the next track is Walk of Fame, and you know how like high school yearbooks have that whole section where you nominate people most likely to fill in the blank. This track would be most likely to be the one played in nightclubs, in my opinion. It's got like that very, almost 90s-esque, kind of like fashion show, catwalk kind of model music kind of vibes. You know it when you hear it. Kind of vibes of like Drop Dead Fred's I'm Too Sexy. That kind of like vibe, you know? Without being a ripoff of that, of course. But this one, I mean, the lyrics kind of just strike as like, oh, poor little rich girl, cry me a damn river. Oh, you don't like fame. You don't like not being able to walk out in public without always being on display on a walk of fame. Boo-hoo. Yeah. It did not hit well with me lyrics-wise. I was just like, sit down and count your money, Miley. Just, jeez. It's like, it's a shame that it's not better lyrics for this one, because honestly, the song itself is a bop. But then the words, I'm like, oh, I'm cringing inwardly a little bit, not gonna lie. So the next track is called Pretend You're God, and I mean, right off the bat, as a Catholic, I kind of take issue with that, but, this one's kind of like, intro-wise, it kind of reminded me of the Who's Quadrophenia, with, like, the piano over, like, the rain sounds and everything. I was like, oh, I've heard this somewhere before. But, the song itself is just, like, a very ambient pop kind of almost environment music, if that makes sense, more so than anything. Lyrically, this is, like, Insecurity, the musical. In one song. One act, that's all that's needed. Yeah, I don't know if Miley's been going through some stuff that she hasn't been talking about publicly or what, but, romantically, if this is autobiographical, it seems she has been kind of all over the place. So the next track up is Every Girl You've Ever Loved, which is another one, actually, that kind of gives those whole fashion show vibes and everything, right down to Naomi Campbell being a cameo artist on it, saying pose over and over throughout it, and like little phrases here and there that sound something akin to like the directions given in David Bowie's Fashion. It kind of gives that vibe throughout of it, on top of the just like very 90s-esque, almost 80s really on this one, just fashion show music. Lyrically, this one almost seems like, I guess her character is trying to pose, as it were, as every girl this guy she digs ever loved, trying to mold herself into, like, the perfect girl for him, is what I'm getting from this. Maybe I'm off on that assessment, but that's my takeaway with it. But, again, this is one that I could see this one being in a nightclub, too, actually. So the next track is called Reborn, and oh my god, this song is like the freaking pick-me-girl anthem, if ever I've seen one. And as far as the lyrics go, I can't even take this one seriously, unfortunately. But, I mean, the song itself, it's back to, like, the earlier part of the album where it feels very trance synth pop. So, even if you can't get behind the lyrics, it's still a vibe. It's still just very chill, just, like, turn your mind off, let the music play. It's just vibes up in here. It's just vibes. And then the last track on here is called Give Me Love, and sadly, no, it is not a cover of the George Harrison song of the same title, as disappointing as that is. This one, again, it was up again on the flowery language that is very poetic and absolutely paints an image in your mind as you listen to it. I don't know why this keeps going darker. I'm trying to fix it. Okay. But anyway, paints a picture in your mind as you listen to it. It's almost like a fairy tale until you think about, wait, what is it she's describing? Oh, it's a smutty fairy tale. Well, basically, did we all just get duped into listening to an album of Miley thirsting over some guy? I think we might have. And the guy may or may not even be into her back. I don't know. I don't know the situation. I don't know if the whole thing's fictional. I don't know. Basically, it's not the worst album. It's not even the worst album by Miley. But it's definitely not the best. It doesn't hold the same standard as the last album. I think for me, I would still give this like a 7 out of 10, which is more than charitable. But it didn't quite live to the hype that I was hoping that it was going to live up to for how this thing was being built up, and given like the last album, I was expecting big things. But at the last moment, in the 11th hour of the last day, I learned that this is an experimental concept album and that this probably has a lot to do with a lot of things ultimately. And I mean, with that in mind, I'm a little more forgiving to it. If I weren't, I'd probably have rated it lower, but it is what it is. It's still checking out at least once. If nothing else, just listen on like YouTube or Spotify or something. Don't even necessarily have to buy it, but what are your thoughts if you've listened to it? I would like to know down below, as well as anything about anything. And as always, you guys know what to do. If you like this video, go ahead and give it a like. If you're not already and you'd like to be, click subscribe, hit that notification bell icon so you never miss an upload, leave comments down below. Make sure you're following my social media accounts, my Facebook fan page, my Twitter, my Instagram, my eBay, my Reddits, everything and more, it's all down below. And if you like what I do here on this channel and you'd like to help support it, the donation link, as always, is down in the description. Get your name on the end card for a month from the time of donating. Anyway, guys, till next time, see ya.